Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm going to be talking about a topic that's a little more serious than usual. I'll be touching on a topic that's hugely impacted on my life, and basically it's heavily related to who I am as a person today. So the topic is third culture kids. So for those who don't know what a third culture kid or who a third culture kid is, third culture kid is basically a term for children who are raised outside of their parents' culture for most part of their development years. I'm thinking about making a few more videos on this topic just because I think there's a lot more to talk about, and I think that I can't fit everything that I want to say about being a third culture kid into one video. And also I think it's a really interesting topic to be sharing with you guys. Okay, so if you haven't guessed already, I am a third culture kid. So I was born in Singapore and I moved to Australia when I was 5 years old. And since then, I've been living in Australia for all of my life. I did go back to Singapore for 2 to 3 years when I was 18 years old to serve the army there. Now I'm back in Australia studying. Being a third culture kid, you never really feel like you belong 100% to any sort of culture. For instance, when I'm in Australia, like I'm Asian, like I'm an Asian guy in a foreign country. I'm known as an Asian kid, you know, like I'm that Asian guy, you know, that guy that's not Australian. I'm the one that's different, but at the same time I belong because it's where I grew up. It's where every single one of my friends were made. This is the country where all my friends are. When I went back to Singapore to serve my national service, I found out like kind of like a harsh reality. Before I went back, I was like, yes, you know, I get to go back to my own country, my own people. I want to be like normal. I want to be one of them. When I went back, instead of being known as just another Singaporean, I was known as the white guy, Delvin, that Australian guy. When I'm here in Australia, I'm known as that Asian guy. But when I'll go back to Singapore, where they're all Asians, and I'm known as the white guy. In Singapore, they use a term called Ang Mo, basically means a white person, Caucasian person. Throughout my time there in the army, I was like not that I took any offense to it, my mates would just refer to me as Ang Mo, or like, you know, the Australian guy. It's because I didn't grow up in Singapore and I had an accent. I was different. When I was young, I didn't like being Asian. When my family moved to Australia, we didn't actually live in Sydney. We went like way out into the country. I came from a little small country town, and it's one hell of a bogan town. And people there weren't as exposed to Asians, so I copped a lot of racist comments. When I went to school, I was the only Asian kid at my school, and everyone would just pick on me, or like they would see me as the different guy, and I didn't like being the different guy. As I grew up, I came around and I started to embrace the fact that I'm Asian. I realized not to be ashamed of your own family culture and your own family background. You should be proud of who you are, who your family are. Knowing about two cultures is a lot better than just knowing one. When you're a third culture kid, you have a broader perspective of things, you know, you have more experiences and you have more point of views, I guess. Like when there's an issue that arises, you have a point of view of two different cultures, and I reckon that's a huge asset that you have as a person. So what I think is the biggest problem about being a third culture kid is the fact that we have trouble defining ourselves, especially at a younger age. Until this day, when people ask me, where is home? I still can't give you an answer. Where is home? Where is my home? I really don't know. I feel at home in Australia because it's where I grew up. Every single friend I've ever made before going back to serve in the army was from Australia. Everything I knew was about Australia. I grew up with Australian morals and ethics, with Australian perspectives. The English I speak is Australian. So is that my home? Literally the house that I live in is in Australia. But then I think about it, like, I hold a Singaporean passport. I look Singaporean, I'm Asian. I went back and spent 2 years of my life serving for this country. Isn't that my home? That's where all my family are at. My extended family are all back in Singapore. If I really had to answer that question, I would probably say home is where you feel comfortable. Home is about the people, not the place. The people that you're around. If they make you feel like you're at home, then you're at home. It doesn't have to be a particular place. I feel that both Australia and Singapore are my home. So kids, please embrace being a third culture kid. See it as a strength, not a weakness, you know, as a strength that you have two cultures within you. That's kind of my story as a third culture kid. You know, when I'm in Australia, I'm different. But when I'm back in Singapore, I'm also the different guy. I've been the odd one out for my whole life. I've never really been, you know, part of the majority in my entire life. So to all my third culture kids out there who are watching this video, give it a big thumbs up. And if you guys have any thoughts, experiences, stories that you'd like to share about being a third culture kid, please drop it in the comments below. Let me know what two countries you're from. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, give it a share. Please follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace!